Hey, Drew Neiser here, and I'm excited to present another Tuesday tip. It's a great one. It's about how do you manage change. First up is Grant Johnson of Emburse. Grant, take yourself off mute and give us a tip for how to manage change.
Thanks, Drew. These have been dramatic times, and I've managed through being acquired 7 times and acquiring 17 companies. So I've I've applied the lessons learned, and it's really about fostering the right behaviors is the main tip. I've always tried to build high performance teams that adapt to the unknown, that can pivot fast anyway. And so I think that's the first thing. And in particular to COVID, in managing change, it's taken a lot of extra effort to stay connected to folks. I think it's a fallacy to assume that you can see somebody on camera with Zoom. You're actually connecting in the way you used to do in the physical world. And so I've done some small group casual chats with individual contributors on the team who I might not interact with on a regular basis. They're not part of the marketing leadership team, but that gives them a forum, and we try to connect, like, how are you coping during COVID, to be very authentic and personal. And I think knowing that the leadership cares, that we're going through the same challenges. One of my kids may walk through the door who's on virtual school at any moment, I think makes a real difference.
Okay, perfect. All right. So it's a complex topic of managing change because we're dealing with you have business change and then you have this massive environmental change. And so building a team that can sort of be flexible, and then as a leader, making sure that you're in contact with your team. Okay, great. So Caroline, take yourself off of mute and give us a tip in your mind for important advice for other CMOs in managing change.
So one of the key learnings, being in a startup, my budget is, both small, nimble, and everything. That'd be 3 things, not 2. I would say keeping one of the things that saved me this year is that I always keep 20% of my budget for innovation, so that my 20% eventually will become my 80%. And in this case, it really helped me because my events were most of my leads. But I had done a 20% test on email and calling, and that really took over and became 80% of the last couple of quarters for us in terms of pipeline and deals closed. So having that discipline of always setting aside money and time for innovation, because you don't know when it's going to become your 80%, would probably be my tip for today.
I love that. And it's such a great, because you had that as an ongoing program, you sort of, how do you prepare for the unexpected? You were ready because you had your tests going on. Love that. Okay, last, Gabi, give us a tip on managing change.
Yeah, hi. So at a tech startup, I think you have to accept that change is inevitable. There's change every single day. And especially in a pandemic, there's probably change several times a day. Well, that's maybe exaggerated, but there's just a lot of change. And it's so easy to get frustrated when things change. So I think what I try to do, and also try and emulate for my team, is just expect it so you don't get frustrated and roll with the punches. And then again, at a startup, like Caroline said, you don't have a lot of budget, you don't have a lot of ways to solve it by bringing in resources. You got to get creative. Just get resourceful. The people have a tolerance for things that are not 100% perfect during a pandemic. And I think that's why my mantra is scrappy, not crappy.
Scrappy, not crappy. All right, there you have our Tuesday tip for managing team. Pay attention to your team and really make sure that you're connected with them, and build a team that is prepared to pivot. Second, put 20% of your budget into experimentations, because that may be your future budget, and how you do it into innovation. And third, accept that it's inevitable, and just be ready to embrace it with all your heart. That's your Tuesday tip. Thank you.